Live. It is 5 o'clock. It's Saturday, the 15th of February. And my name is Didi Khan. I'm going to stay here a couple of hours. For those who don't know me, I'm a therapist and coach. And I come here on YouTube and TikTok and I do lives to answer any questions that you'd like to ask me related to mental health, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, human behavior, human psychology, human relationships. The reasons as to why we do the things that we do and we feel the way we feel, pretty much. So that when we can understand this, we can understand ourselves, but also we can learn how to understand others and we can understand the whole state of the world. So, so this can be very useful in many different ways. So normally what I do, because I don't have so many people yet on YouTube, I get the live started with me reading some of the posts that I put out on TikTok this week. And eventually, hopefully, as soon as I've got some questions from any of you guys, then I will start to answer those questions. Just let me double check that it's working. Actually, hopefully, yes, I am. As soon as I've got somewhere on the internet. Okay, so first post that I'm going to read about, it goes like this. It's all about karma, and it created a lot of ooha actually on TikTok. And it goes like this. If you believe that karma will punish those who hurt you because they hurt you, that will be because you have forgotten that you are not the center of the universe. So essentially what I'm trying to say here, I'm trying to explain that the principles of karma is no more nor less than the law of cause and effect. It doesn't mean that because someone has hurt us, karma will punish them. It only means that whatever that we do, feel, think, say, believe, create some reactions around us that is going to shape the world in the direction we have, in the direction of whatever we've done or said or thought. So what it means is that we're all connected and we all influence one another in some capacity. But we need to stop believing that because we are not happy about someone, there's some sort of divine entity up there that is going to avenge us, that is going to do the dirty deed for us on our behalf. Things may happen, or it may not be directly related to whatever happened to us. It can happen in myriads of many forms. But the way that I see it is that when we talk about karma, we are essentially, so when we think about the Buddhist, they talk about a karmic debt. And then what it means is that when we come into this life, as we reincarnate, we are bringing that karma and we're going to get started our life with that as a debt to address all throughout our life. But the way that I see it is that we can also look at it from the position of, from the perspective of the law of attraction. Whatever that we do or allow or don't do is going to create a karma in the sense that we're starting something, we're starting a movement, we're starting a momentum, and that creates something. Now, it's not literally something that is going to get back to us, not like a boomerang. It's just that we sometimes experience things as if we were getting punished for what we have done or said. But we forget that from the get-go, from the start, whatever that we've done or said created that already. It's just that it took us some time to see the effect of it. That's it. And so, yes, I saw a lot of comments on my TikTok about people not being happy about this, saying, if there's a karma, everyone will pay, everyone who hurt me will pay for it. And it actually told me something very interesting. I didn't realize how so many people are desperate to believe that there's some sort of divine entity that will protect them and avenge them from the bad guys. I realized that if they don't have that belief, then to them, they'll be accepting that the bad guys have won. But again, when we think like that, it's because we don't have enough self-awareness, we don't have enough perspective of the bigger picture. We still believe, indeed, that we're at the center of the world, that everything revolves around us and everything is happening to us, at us, or because of us. Instead of realizing and accepting that there's a much bigger picture and nothing happens to us, at us or for us. Things just happen, and we happen to be there. That's it. Now the things that we do, the things that we say, the way we feel, the things that we allow, all of those things are going to contribute to our reality and add into the cosmic energetic balance. But nothing is that literal. Karma is not that literal, as in I've done someone has hurt me and so they will pay for it. People who have hurt us, they come from a place of hurt already, because only hurt people hurt people. And so in that sense, they're already paying their karmic debt. Think about this. Only hurt people hurt people. So for them to hurt you, they already suffer from their own hurt. So somehow they're already suffering from that situation. So that was the first post that I wanted to talk about. The second one is about more political, and it goes like this. Pro-woman doesn't mean anti-men. Pro-people of colors doesn't mean anti-white. Pro-LGBTQIA+ doesn't mean anti-straight. And generally speaking, pro something that you're not should never feel like it's anti-you, unless you are anti-it. And so this is me basically explaining the psychological reasons as to why so many people react to Black Lives Matter, trans rights, human rights, Me Too movement, and all those things. It's not because of any other reasons that it's challenging their perception of normality and reality. And to them, they feel that they're going to lose control. And so they are freaking out, and that's why they react to this. But if we can have enough empathy, if we have exercised addressing our power of empathy on others, then it's easy to actually accept others and tolerate others and expand our mind and realize that the only way to make it at some point in the history of our civilization is to do it together. Okay, the last post that I'd like to talk about is another one that created a lot of problems. I put it this morning and it goes like this. Pranks are a sign of very low emotional intelligence. It's like when someone is falling. If we laugh, it is only because subconsciously we are happy not to be the one embarrassing ourselves. And so what I'm trying to say here is that people don't realize that there are a lot of different levels of humor. A lot of people are attacking me on TikTok saying, how can you be so miserable? Humor is very good. And I never said otherwise. Laughing is great. Humor is fantastic. But it doesn't have to come at the expense of some people. If we look at the history of humor, we can see that there's an evolution. And so basically, if you go back into the Middle Age, the one thing that was funny was when people were hurting others. Think about Punch and Judy. Right? I don't know if you know about Punch and Judy. They are puppets. And I'm not sure, I think it's someone who is beating up his wife with a stick. And all the kids were like, it's so funny, because that was pretty much the level of intelligence and awareness and humor that they had back then. However, things have evolved. If you look back, then that sort of laughing at the expense of others have evolved, but it was still there in different form. If you look at humor from, I don't know, the 1950s, 60s, there was also still a lot of this. Or even when I was a child, in the 70s. I know that in the UK you had a series called Carry On, or Benny Hill. In France, there was similar with French. And basically, in all those series or movies, there was always a laughing stock, someone that people will laugh at, people will mock. And again, it was a type of humor that came at the expense of someone. And everyone would be finding it very funny that there's someone who is very, who's being bullied, literally, by everyone else in the movie. And it's a huge source of joy and fun for everyone. And this is actually very cruel. When I watch some snippets of Carry On, it makes me feel very, very bad. I'm like, gosh, why are we laughing at that? Poor guy, it's nothing funny about this. But this is the evolution of things. And even I think about O.J. Simpson in the 90s. I remember saying something about laughter because he's been prosecuted for violence, and I'm not sure. I think there was a crime involved with his wife as well, probably. I can't remember everything. But he said he referred to those jokes from movies from the 1950s and 60s where people were laughing about beating up their wives. It was funny and normal and accepted. And so when I talk about pranks, now I'm talking about the things that we see on social media. When people are scaring people are startling them or making fun of them, ridiculing them. And to me, this is the same vein as all the examples that I've provided so far. And it's also the same as when people like Ricky Gervais, for instance, or David Chappelle have no problem mocking the trans community. And they don't realize that their words have an impact in the sense that they are normalizing belittling and bullying a whole group of minority of people who are already dealing with a lot of problems on their own because of the way society is using them as scapegoats. And so this is what I'm trying to say. We want to realize that there are different types of humor, and we don't need to go back into those places where we had to laugh at the expense of some people in order to find joy and entertainment. Now there are more and more people who are realizing this and developing other type of humor which are just as funny, but that don't involve laughing at the expense of others. Okay, that's it. Those were the posts that I wanted to talk about today. Now I'm going to read about whatever comment that you have, and hopefully we can start a discussion about anything that you want to ask me about anything at all. Again, related to mental health, therapy, mindset, human psychology, and behavior. Okay, we have read. I'll think of something. Okay, fantastic. Parody. Hi, Didi. Hello, Parody. Adam edits. Are you German? No, I am not. I was born in France. My genetics are Chinese, and I live in the UK in London. Red. Exactly. Thank you, Red. Parody. So we should try to not take anything personally. Is this accurate? So are you referring to the karmic thing? Generally speaking, regardless of whatever the context was, we never want to take anything personally. Indeed, we want to learn. It takes time. It's a skill, but we want to learn how to realize that nothing that people do or say has ever got anything to do with us. We all project, and people who say things or do things to us, they're only projecting how they feel, what they believe about themselves out in the world. And so, when people say bad things about us, we only get hurt because there's a part of us that believe that what they say is true and can hurt us. But if we can realize that they are just projecting their own reality, their own insecurities onto the world, then it's got nothing to do with us. We can accept, this would happen. Some people do that, some people say that, it's got nothing to do with me. There will always be people who will be saying bad things about us, who will dislike us, who will diss us, and it's okay. It's a big world out there. We don't need to focus on those people. We can just create a space between us and them and allow them to continue their life the best they can, wish them the best, but then we can focus on the nice people, the people who are kind to us, the people who get us, who understand us, with whom we don't need to overcome some ill feelings. Racing Club. Hello, Mamacita. Am I Mamacita? All right, fair enough. Richie B. Hi, Didi. Thanks for your advice last week. Fantastic. Thank you, Richie. RE, dismissive avoidance. I lost my dad when I was 9 and think that may have triggered something in me, as we never spoke about him passing. Thanks again. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad that whatever that I do, if it helps you or anyone else, this is why I'm here for. Thank you so much for the feedback. Red, my question is, do you believe you are philosophing based on information aware of or prophesizing via calculation, and is that high intelligence and due to awareness? Oh, there's a lot of us. Gosh, you're giving me a headache. The way that I'm doing things, I'm talking based on me as many things. I'm a human being. I have an experience. I have been through all sorts of different things. So this is that. But also, I'm a therapist. I'm a coach. My job, my day job, is to look after people who suffer from depression, anxiety, addiction, self-sabotage, and anger issues. So I've been doing it for 8 years now. And so whatever that I talk about is based on what I know as a human being and as a therapist. And so a little bit of everything will create whatever that I talk about, right? Now, I don't know what you mean. I don't know. This is a rabbit hole, but I don't understand because I don't think that we speak the same language. But I hope that what I said made sense to you. I'm just channeling what I feel is the right thing to say based on things that I know, based on the things that I learn. I read a lot, I discover a lot through my work with my clients every day. And also I have ADHD, and so my brain can hyper-focus over the things that I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about the mind, I'm passionate about psychology, I'm passionate about the discovering the mechanics and seeing through the fabric of reality, and all those things, spirituality and all. And so yes, this is just me sharing what I do know at this point in time in my journey. Right. Or are we working on bias, taking things personally, even when we believe we're not, because we come to peace with them, and thus we believe we are seeing evolution in evolution? But you speak. There's too many words. Sorry, I can't do this. If we can make it simple, because otherwise, I feel that it can be very confusing. Ask me something very simple with few words, please, and we can go in that direction. Thank you. I just leave that there for now. Reds, yes, absolutely. It does not worry. Absolutely, I'm passionate about this. And fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes we get lost with two words. It's more, if the more simple we can make something, the better it is, because then we can understand and we can always develop things like that. But it tells me that you overthink a lot and you have a very busy mind, and maybe is not a language that I can connect with at this point in time. But if you can make it simple, that would be very, very useful and appreciated, please. Thank you. Right, I am into thought. Hey, hey, there you go. I see it. Fantastic. Great. We're all different. But I have to just be honest and say how I feel about anything at all. Okay, so do you guys have anything you want to ask me about anything at all? How is your week going? How have you been feeling in regards to your life, your relationships, in regards to your past, in regards to your thoughts, in regards to politics, in regards to anything at all? Kate, hi Didi, you are early today. Yes, yes. I tried 5 o'clock to see what happens. I will stay if it's busy, whatever I need to stay for. But to me, it's easier to start a bit earlier. So far, there's a good start to it, and so maybe I can stick to that. And so maybe I can read more about my post until I've got some questions. I put a post also yesterday about trans people, and this also created a lot of hoo-ha on TikTok. I'm going to read it to you. It's a bit political, but it's very important to realize this. And so it goes like this. You have never met a trans person in your life. How can you be so angry at the people that you have never met? Because society needs scapegoats and witches to burn. And that is why trans people suffer, because they have been sadly portrayed and used as such, and you fell for it. And so what I'm trying to highlight here, and it's very true, anyone who hates on trans people, they've never met one in their life. They haven't. It's not possible. Because if they did, if they sat down, if they had a chat with them, they would know that, it's just a person, and whatever the propaganda is going on about, it's just false. It's just a false narrative. They're bringing out of proportion some cases that are a fraction of what is happening in reality. And so that is not just for trans people. This is also for any other type of discrimination. Generally speaking, the most racist people are those who don't travel, who don't have much education about other people, who have never met other people. They only live next to some neighborhood, and they have been led to believe that they are the bad people. So they already have a very strong bias against them. But if we travel, we can realize that there are a lot of different people in the world with a lot of different ways to speak, to behave, with a lot of different customs and culture, and it's okay. And so basically, if we can expand our mind by meeting people, speaking to them, talking to them, seeing the human that they are, past their behavior, past their looks, past the way they sound, then we can realize that we're all the same, and we can expand our level of empathy or intelligence and our ability to make this world a better place for all. That's it. I saw something very interesting. I talk about it quite often because it was so powerful. A few years ago, I saw a documentary about a British journalist who went to America to meet people from the KKK, and she's of Indian origin. So a brown person going there, going into the snake pit, pretty much. And at the beginning of the documentary, everyone was very, very hostile to her. But she was very professional, and she wanted to ask them, why are you racist? Why do you believe in white supremacy? Why are you so passionate about hating on people that you have never met? And eventually, by the end of the documentary, I don't know how long it lasts, I can't remember. Two people from the documentary told her, I don't want to be Nazi anymore. I don't want to be KKK anymore. I don't want to be extreme right anymore. And she asked them, why? And those two guys, they said, because we like you, because we know you, because we've never met anyone like you before. And it was the first time that we had a chance to talk to someone that is different to us and realize that you are lovely and we want to be your friend. And just like that, that was magic, two of them. And so this is really highlighting how very often we're being manipulated by some people in our community that want us to hate on others so that we can manipulate us emotionally. But all we have to do is to actually meet with people and speak to them and realize that it's not true. Whatever that the newspapers, whatever what BBC, ABC, whatever CBS are saying, it's all propaganda. The Trump administration, all those people, they just want to, again, hijack people's attention by manipulating the emotional strings into focusing on some scapegoats, which is to burn. Back then, all the witches that were burned were just women who were slightly different, who lived on their own, maybe women who had who were neurodivergent. Maybe they looked a bit different, and because you live on your own, you have a lot of cats. So women with cats equals witch, burn her. And if we burn her now, peace and abundance will come back into the village. That sort of things. But sadly, in 2025, it's still the mentality that a lot of people are being limited by in many parts of the world, and especially in many parts of America, as we're seeing now, since the re-election of Donald Trump. And so, again, just so you know, this is not a political life. It's about mental health. But I believe that we can understand everything that is happening in the world if we can remind ourselves that what drives the behavior of people is the psychology of it. So if we can understand what's happening here and there, we can understand why the world is in such a state, and it can make it easier for us. And also, so that you know, from my perspective, people who voted for Trump or who voted for people that are on the opposite side of my personal political preference, to me, they're not bad people. They're just people who have a different preference because of X, Y, Z. I understand, I can see, and I accept that. To them, it is the truth. They really believe in their hearts that they're doing the right thing, and it's not their fault. Nothing is anyone's fault. We just believe what we believe because of our upbringing, because of our environment, because of our community. So there you go. Okay, let me see if there's any more questions now. Red. Okay, I get it. Sorry, I just seen your intelligence. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Red. Kate, are you enjoying your Saturday? Yes, I am. Very much. Today, I'm much more relaxed than I was last week because I had a client, a catch-up, and they are doing very well. And so it's very reassuring. It makes me feel good. I'm very happy with myself. Thank you for asking. Parody, I was officially diagnosed with ADHD. Okay, fantastic. Good on you. Yes, official diagnosis. They gave me meds, but said not to have high hopes. They're not very good people, are they? They're not very helpful. What I'd say is that if they tell you not to have high hopes, what sort of people are they? The meds, you take it or not, it's up to you. Try this and see what happens. For some people, it helps them feel better for a while. And for some people, it doesn't work. And for some people, it makes them feel worse. So it depends. So only you can experiment, but also know that if you just take medications, it's going to help you for a amount of time, but it will probably not last forever because the brain will adapt to it eventually, and so you will have to up the dose or try something else, and now you will get started onto a different problem altogether. So it's very important that when you have ADHD, it's okay for some people to have medications, but I would always suggest to have a strategy to address your lifestyle and your environment. If you don't change anything about your life, but you just take medication to try to fit into that life, the neurotypical one, then you will end up addicted to the drug, and you will not be better off at some point in the future with the added problem of addiction. And so what I'd say is, if it makes you feel better in the meantime, it's great, but do focus on developing a strategy that will ensure that you create, that you choose over time, that you build, that you construct a lifestyle and an environment that supports you, that supports your condition. Right? So we can talk about this if you want, but this is so, so important. So many people don't get it. So many people who are neurodivergent are just trying to fit in that normal society that was never designed for them. And so they will never find happiness. At some point they will crash and have more problems than ever before. Parody, absolutely the truth. Reds, I agree. Thank you. Azar, Red. Hello, sir. Missed you a lot. Thank you so much. There I'm here. Ask me anything. I'm glad to have you. Thank you. Parody, wow, that's amazing. 100%. Okay, thank you. Red, Parody, yes, it's all meant to divide and conquer. Yes, absolutely. Boba, dear Didi, is it okay to sacrifice yourself for your loved ones, children, partner? No, it's not okay. Nope, 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 nope. Sacrificing comes from despair and the idea that there's no other choices, and it's not true. We don't need to sacrifice. It's a belief that a lot of people have, but it's passed on generationally. We believe that there's not enough goodness, we're not enough, and the only way for us to have something must come at a cost of sacrifice. It's like when people used to sacrifice babies at the top of the hill for the god of harvest to rain on their crops. It's a belief. We don't want to believe this. You can create happiness, you can find a way to develop abundance and health and safety without the need to sacrifice. But if you believe that you must sacrifice, maybe if you grew up in a very religious family and they are all talking about sacrificing, like Jesus sacrificed himself for the world, that sort of things, then it will be a belief that will be hindering your perception of life and what you must be doing to create happiness and good things in your life. But it's not like that. Life is not hard. It doesn't have to be hard. If we believe that life is hard, we are creating a prophecy that will fulfill itself. And so in the very same way, you don't have to sacrifice anything. Nothing must come at a cost. Sometime you have to make a choice. If you want something right here, right now, maybe there's got to be a choice to be done. But over the long run, it's possible to create strategies so that your life can be actually simple and easy and fun, and that you can create good things for you and your loved ones without hardship, without sacrifice, without it costing you anything at all. If we believe that, it creates a lot of problems. One very simple example is when people believe that money and abundance and success is available to them, but only if they work hard, if they make a lot of sacrifice. And so they make a lot of sacrifice, and they do get that, but it costs them. A lot of people have the success, but they never see their kids. A lot of people have the success, but they work so hard, they have health problems, and then at a later stage of their life, cancer, heart attacks, all those things. Too much stress, too much work, too much working hard, too much pressure. All of this has been accepted because we believe that life is hard, but you can be successful if you work very hard and if it comes at a cost, if you sacrifice something. It is just not true. If you believe that, you will create that reality for you. But if you can believe that with time, with organization, with planning, with me expanding my mind, it's possible to create a life where I can have all the things that I want without hardship, without cost, without sacrifice. I hope it makes sense. You don't want to sacrifice yourself because you are here to live your life. Now, as parents, we need to look after our kids. It's our responsibility number one, but still, the best way that you want to look after your kids is to show them how to be a better human being, how to be happy, how to be empowered. If you show your kids that you must work very hard and sacrifice yourself for them, guess what? They will download that belief from you as well. And then what happens when they are adults? They believe the same thing. We believe the same limiting belief that you believe in. And they suffer from it. And they pass it on to their kids. And everyone suffers from a generation to the next. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can stop this. You can show them, you know what? Grandparents used to believe that, and people before as well. But no, not anymore. We want happiness. We want to have together time. We want health. We want joy. We want love. We want to have special time together. And we can have all the other things. But I just need to find a way to make it happen over time. Yeah. Does it help, Boba? Does it make sense? Parody. My primary care physician said he's never had so many patients to refer for mental health help due to the orange guy. I'm not surprised. I was saying how, on one of the lives, I can't remember which one, how indeed society is designed to hurt us mentally and emotionally and physically. The way it's designed is very, very toxic to all of us. It's very aggressive, it's very nasty. And now we're coming to a different era where it's getting worse. But it doesn't mean that we cannot do something about it. Our environment is hurting us directly from the moment we are born. First, because of the pressure of our parents go through, and the belief that they have about the world, that is going to get them to stress out and to have their own problems, but also the way they're going to interact with us because of that, and us coming to the world, discovering people, bullying, division, hatred, discrimination, comparison, competition, better, lesser, all those things. And this is all absolutely unnecessary. But society has created that precisely so that we are in a very fragile and precarious state, so that we can again manipulate us emotionally and get us to do whatever they want us to do. Right? Again, a capitalist society wants us to be working very hard and have the idea of making sacrifice so that we can feed the system that only the few ones at the top are benefiting from. So yes, I understand, and I am not surprised that your GP, your primary care physician, told you so. But yeah, but stay positive and realize that you remind yourself that you can. There are many things that you can do. We talked about it briefly once, I think, in regards to the Orange Man. You can focus your energy, your time, and your attention on building or reinforcing your community. And this is what we call the resistance. If you have a community, if you talk to people, if you meet each other, if you give each other advice and help and information and all of those things, this is how you can thrive together. We are pack animals. We need a group, a tribe. And so the purpose of the pyramid at the top is to divide us so there's no tribe. But if you can create that tribe within your very community, then now you're not on your own. Now you're not helpless. Now you're not powerless. Now you're not clueless. You have everything. You have the information. You have the connection. You can feel empowered by helping others who are less fortunate than you, and vice versa, in many different ways. And this is very, very empowering. It's so important to socialize and to be with people from your own tribe. And now more than ever before, you can do this. If you feel that you are fragile, take an action. Focus your attention of, instead of feeling, the world is going to it's doom and gloom. It's getting worse and worse. Instead, you can think, I'm going to fight. I'm going to do something about this. What can I do about it? I'm going to go to my local library. I'm going to meet all these people. I'm going to create some groups on Facebook or wherever, on TikTok. I'm going to organize some meetings so we can gather, we can talk, we can support each other, we can listen to each other, we can help each other, we can give advice to each other. All of those things are so important. All resistance, all throughout the history of humanity, existed because of community. And so you can do this instead of focusing on being desperate and feeling overwhelmed, because the world as it is very, very scary and very ugly indeed, absolutely. But we can focus our attention in that mindset that is, let's do something about it. Let's fucking save it. Let's do something about it. Choose, I want to suffer it, I'm going to do something about it. And that is empowering. Just the thought of this should make you feel better. It makes me feel better already, just talking about it. What do you say, Parody? Does it make sense? Does it help? Reds, yes, what's the point in giving you meds and telling you not to have high hopes when literally the majority of your healing stems from you and your hope gained via belief sometime? Yes, I mean, there is a benefit, but it's true that most of our work should be done from the inside out. We are born with all the things that we need in order to thrive in this life. It's all inbuilt within us. So I agree with that, absolutely. We don't change our belief, we need to change our emotional triggers, but not everyone is there. We all have a different start in life, a different story, and a different level of ability. We're all different, right? And so it's very important to realize that for some people, medication can help, but only within a certain amount of time. And if we have a strategy in place to address the main problems, right? The medication should only help us to do the things that we want to do, to change. Right? The medication itself, they won't change anything. But I agree with you, Red. I am against drugs, generally speaking, because I used to be addicted to drugs and alcohol myself for 48 years. And so I have a terrible relationship with those things. And I believe that we don't need them because there are ways where we can find those from the inside out. Parody. I am not allowed to take anything that is an upper due to having tachycardia. This medication, she said, may not help as much, if at all. No, I really don't want to rely on a medication if not 100% indeed. Need it. Okay, get it. In that case, don't. It doesn't sound like a great idea. You don't have to have medication. A lot of people with ADHD find myriads, like me, myriads of different ways to address the quality of life without having to take medications. Um, Again, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, meditation, ice bath, yoga, walking outdoors in nature, doing something that you love, all of those things. There's so many different things that you can do, addressing your lifestyle and your environment, and your, yeah, all those things are absolutely a huge field for you to work on in regards to your ADHD without needing medications. Azar, red, like the stream, guys. Okay, you like the stream? Thank you. Azar, just to watch you today, so no questions. Okay, no worries, no worries. Kate, message retracted. And then another one. How did your family deal with your sexuality? Were they happy for you? Oh, we had so much more things to deal with. This was the list of our worries, right? With my mum, we had a lot of problems. I fought with her all my life, and she had a lot. It's complicated, but basically, my mum has a lot of conditions. She's a narcissist, but also she's got borderline personality disorder, bipolar, and CPTSD. I assume, I guess, because she's never been officially diagnosed. But basically, she was always on medications, always losing it because of the pressure of life back then. My dad was working very hard to make money, and he was ill. He had lots of cancers and stuff like that. And so she was overwhelmed, and she took the medication. She had her own mental trauma, a lot of traumas from her own childhood. And so basically, she was always horrible to me. And so I had to leave home at a very young age. I was homeless on and off from the age of 12. And because again, I was like her. So we fought. So obviously, it starts from the top down. But the sexual thing is the least of our problems. She tried to stab me in the kitchen when I was 12 years old with a kitchen knife. And so this is absolutely nothing to us, right? But however, we still worked on it, and now we are at peace. It took me 38 years to kind of find a way to change myself so that I can reconnect and love my mum. And we did it. We made it happen. And now we are besties, despite having through horrors for 38 years of our life together. Um, like hatred and a lot of nasty stuff. But now we've been in a very good place, and I'm happy. I'm here, and so has she. She's changed an awful lot, and so this is very good. But when I've always been very fluid. I always had boyfriends and girlfriends. But when I was young, I think my parents assumed that when I was with boys, it was just to try my things. But I would eventually set up with a woman and have kids. And I had that idea as well because I was conditioned for that. But I moved away from that, obviously. Now I've been married with my husband. We've been together for 20 years, very happy. But when I told her originally, she was horrible to me, but not because of the sexuality, just because she's a narcissist. And she wanted to say horrible things to me. So basically, she kept me away. She told everyone in my family a lot of terrible things about me. I couldn't attend my cousin's wedding, which I felt bad about because I love him, but because she didn't allow it, she forbade it, and I couldn't do anything that the family was doing because she was ashamed of me. But it's not that she was ashamed of me because of my sexuality. It's just because she had another reason, another excuse to belittle me, as she has done all of her life. And so I knew that it was never because of that, but it still hurt. But then again, we've been through so much, it was just another one, and it didn't make any difference to how I felt about her and myself anyway. However, now we've changed, we're at peace, we're happy, we speak to each other all the time on the phone, and I do tell her that I love her, that I forgive everything, and I can hear that she's different as well. She wants to change, she wants to heal, but it's very hard when you've been a narcissist for the whole of your life. But we're getting somewhere. And I'm very genuinely happy with this. And so, yes, and so now she has accepted my husband. She speaks to him every time we speak on the phone. She actually loves him. She really, really loves him because my husband is a very, very lovely person, and he's easy to like. And so she's got no problem with us anymore. But at the beginning, she did. And my dad, he passed away a long time ago. So for him, it was never even a question that we addressed ever. He had also other problems in mind. This was never something that was important to us because we've been through so much worse. So it's not to compare problems. So what I'm trying to say is that we're already overwhelmed with problems, mental, emotional problems, but also financial issues. And so I suffered from racism. I suffered from classicism. I suffered from what else? From fatism because I was overweight. But funnily enough, when I was very young, I never suffered from homophobia. Because again, people had more than enough already to pick up from to bully me, right? They could laugh at me because I'm Chinese, because I'm poor, because I'm fat, because I have a lot of spot, because ableism, because I had a lot of tics, and my behavior was different. And so, yeah. And so the LGBT thing to me was never really anything painful to me. And I understand the pain of it through my friends. Me and my husband, all of our friends, are from the LGBT community, and we I know about the suffering all throughout the 80s with AIDS, and up till now with the terrible trans hatred rhetoric that is everywhere now. We are really, really aware of this. But me, personally, I had already tons of other problems to deal with, so that was never a problem to me. And even when my mum was horrible to me, I knew that it was just because it's her. It's got nothing to do with me. It still sucked, it still hurt, but it happens, and we're good now. That's it. Thank you, Kate. Bob, thanks for that. I feel I can develop myself without sacrificing much of me to become a better me. Yes, of course, you don't need to sacrifice. We are here to evolve, to grow, to develop. And so you don't need to sacrifice. What you need to do is to accept that there's some part of you that are no longer required, so you can let them go. And you can focus on developing other parts of you that are more something that you want to become. That's it. You are a story, you are an adventure. You are coming to this life to become a better person every day of your life. And what matters is not where you are at this point in time, but it's about you having an awareness that you are your whole story. And so what matters is every moment of your life until your last moment. You don't have anything to prove or to show to anyone. It's just about you unfolding your own adventure and finding out who you are as you are becoming, as you're going through that path one step at a time. Red, they're just trying to stay employed. I'm not sure about, I forgot about the context of this. You're talking about when I was talking about capitalism? Are you saying this? Yes. If that's the case, yes, we live in fear. We believe that we can't exist without having to do certain things. And so we are living in a constant state of survival. We need to survive this society. Is that what you mean? Parody, because of you, I know as myself if what I said. Okay, let me read again. Because of you, I now as myself if I'm upset about is made up social construct. If answer is yes, I try to move on from that thought. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Yes, yes. We suffer, we get upset for things that really everything is made up. Our whole reality, society, all of our beliefs are made up. And so we must choose beliefs that support us. We must create a lifestyle and environment that supports us as well. We don't need to play the game. We can find ways gradually, little by little, not just like that, because there's a lot of things to organize, but over a certain period of time, we can create a different reality for us. We don't need to play that game anymore. We can create our own rules with our own tribe, with our own priorities, and it's absolutely possible. Reds, 100 it is, I'd say. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Parody, 100%. Okay, so you are agreeing with what I said? Reds, but not to create excuse, that's dangerous. Never believe there's a limit you can make and have all you like. I don't believe in excuse. There's no such thing as excuse. Excuse is a word that I dislike because it's very often used by people who are self-righteous. It's an excuse. And they don't have enough empathy and emotional intelligence to realize that no one is making excuses. We all do what we can emotionally based on whatever happened to us in the past. Every single one of us for everything. And so I'm not sure what you mean. I'm sure that you come from a good place. But excuse is a word that is not one that I use myself. Because it contains so much shame, guilt, blame, so much negativity. I like to replace this with understanding, explaining. That's different. If we can understand something, we don't need to believe that there's a part of them that is bad. There's a part of their personality that lack of moral virtue, and because of that, they are bad. They're not trying hard enough. They don't have willpower. They're weak. And this is what excuse, for me, convey. But we all are different. I just want to express how I feel, right? Parody. Yes, I'm part of two groups to fight peacefully against orange. Yes, good on you. Good on you. Fantastic, fantastic. Focus on that and do this. Focus all of your energy on that. Think about it. It's war. It is literally that. You are working in the resistance. You're creating this. In many years to come, when things get better, you will be remembered as one of those who were actively invested in the resistance. And it's a beautiful thing to be a part of, as opposed to being part of all those people who are apathetic. They're just freaking out. They don't have, they're not able, it's not their fault, but still, they're not helping society. Right? If you can, then you have a little extra. You can change this world. So well done, Parody. Thank you. Parody, I go out my way to talk to others who don't look like me. I talk with the checkout person, people who are friendly. It lifts my spirit. Fantastic. Well done. And well done. But also remember, create communities. Get them to meet you and other people and have some talk about those things. I'm sure that now is the time really where you can find a lot of people like that. Read. Community without resistance is not common. I don't know, maybe? Parody. I made it almost half a century without, so I don't feel I need it. Are you talking about medications? Yes, I agree with you. Absolutely. Red. What age are you, Parody, if you don't mind me asking? Red. That's heartwarming. How you had to leave home so young, and yourself are so hard. Okay, thank you very much. We all go through all sorts, and we all change. And I think, not just me, but most people, even I, when I think about my past, I'm like, how did that happen? It feels like I've been many different people in my life. I've changed so much, and I look back at myself with compassion and a lot of tenderness because of all the things that I've been through. But I'm not the only one. And this is why it's so important to be kind to others, because we never know what's going on here and there. We don't know the story. We don't know. We judge people based on our own projections on how we feel in this moment, but we never know. And so, thank you for saying this. And yeah, there are many like me. Parody, Reds, I don't know how to tag for replies. I'm 49. Parody, but it's beautiful to hear. Blue heart, thank you. Reds, my dad's gay. Okay, he had 5 kids with my mom prior. My mom was very in her shadow, and his mom was too in her dark. Femme, and I love him so much. Okay, thank you so much, Reds. Thank you. I'm glad that there's no animosity between you and your dad for the fact that he's gay. Kate, I'm so sorry you've been through so much. Oh, right, thank you. Don't be. This is life. It's the good thing about it is that now I am doing this. I've been a therapist for nearly 8 years now, and I'm loving it, and I'm able to help a lot of people, and this is quite very special. And I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't go through everything that I've been through and came out of it. This is what makes me so good within my specialisms, because I've been there and I can remember how it feels. I can remember everything, and that makes such a difference. And also I'm doing it for the right reasons. I don't want anyone to ever feel like that anymore. If I can do something about it. Reds, parody, me too. Okay, you look amazing, you're amazing. Don't box yourself with narcotics. If you have no faith in them assisting you, to what? Be a mimic of what the limelight on now forget it. Okay, I agree with you, Reds. Yes, it's a good advice, indeed, indeed. Reds, or it has no power on you. Okay. Pranav Savant. Hello, Pranav. How is your English so good? Where did you learn from? I've been living in the UK for 27 years. So yeah, there you go. My English was terrible at start. When I came to London, I couldn't even know how to say the most basic things. I was very, very lost and confused. But then again, I came here. I was 27. I wanted to become a rock star. It feels like a lifetime ago. Yes, I have learned over time. And I'm going to say something because I'm neurodivergent. And because my husband also is neurodivergent, we don't actually. I struggled with that language for a long, long time. I didn't realize how I sounded, and I don't talk that much to my husband because he's autistic, and so our conversations are quite limited compared to neurotypical people. There are some, but there's a limitation. But what I'm trying to say is that thanks to TikTok and YouTube, I have learned to realize how I come across other people. And so I've learned how to be more articulate, how to be more eloquent, how to project my words better, how to pronounce English better. So I have to say that in the last 3 years, my English has improved more than the 24th previous year when I was living here already. I think there are different levels of English, and your level of English depends on how you use it. So when I was just working in places with people, you don't need that much English to get by. But if you want to teach things about the mind, if you want to understand things, if you want to be heard, to be understood as a therapist, but also as a content creator, then you really need to take it to the next level. And so maybe that's helped me expand my English. Roblox Player 101. Do you have a good way to model the superlinear growth? What is the superlinear growth? Of reduced lattice graph order and as in approaches infinity. I don't know what you talk about. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Can you talk to me in layman terms, please? Because if I don't understand it, there's a high chance that a lot of people who are watching in the background don't understand it either. So could you simplify it for me, please? Roblox, are you French? I was born in France and I have a French passport, but I don't see myself as a French person. I am a citizen of the world. Reds, I live in Essex, London, born but raised in Northern Ireland. Okay. Parody, Reds, thank you for your compliment. I feel like I am 80 some days. Reds, that's a good question. Are there signs to being autistic? Yes. Just curious because I believe autism is kind of grander perspective. But my mum told me a couple of years ago, although I'm almost 38, she thinks I may be autistic. Okay, so I'm going to go on internet and read to you what are the most common signs of autism. Okay. 3 main things: social interaction, communication, and repetitive behavior. Number 1, social interaction. There are the signs that are very common: avoiding eye contact, not responding to their name, not smiling when others smile at them, not seeking out others to share discoveries, difficulty understanding what others are thinking or feeling, difficulty making friends, and preferring to be alone. Communications are, but this is for kids. But it's the same for adults. You know what? Let me add in adults. Symptoms of autism in adults. So we got social challenges. So back to that. Difficulty understanding social cues, body language, facial expressions, difficulty making eye contact, difficulty understanding figurative language like metaphor or idiomatic expressions, difficulty interpreting indirect requests or implied meanings in conversations, difficulty understanding other people's expectations and perspectives. Let's go back to the next. Other symptoms, difficulty understanding what others are thinking. So we said that already. Yeah. So taking things literally, but there's also something that they don't mention. Autistic people can be overwhelmed by sound, by chaos, by movement. And there's a lot of also things that we develop as a result of having autism, living in a neurotypical society. So because we're going to be masking and pretend to be normal, we accumulate and we keep a lot of stress in our body, and we end up stimming. So some people can be very fidgety. Stimming can come across many different ways, but stimming is a symptom of that is very, very often found with people who have autism. But generally speaking, people who are autistic, they don't think like other people, and they have quite a sense of justice as well. They're not easily. They don't feel that they need to. They consciously try to fit in to work in society, but they don't feel that they need to fit into any labels or what I'm trying to say is that we are more ourselves than neurotypical people. If you're neurotypical, let me give you an example. A lot of LGBTQIA plus people are on the autism spectrum. And there's actually a strong correlation between this and that. And that's because for people who are neurodivergent, this is who they are. But for people who are neurotypical, they're going to have shame and they're going to repress it and pretend to be someone else. So it's just something that came to my mind because I was talking about the LGBTQ people before. But yes, those are some of the symptoms. So do you recognize in any of them? I'm on the NHS website. Yes, so sometimes people who have autism, they can come across like blunt, rude, or stubborn. It's not their fault, it's just the way their brain are. They're very direct, they say what they think. What you see is what you get. So there's not much emotional intelligence, there's not much diplomacy. So because of that, it can be a problem. They can hyper focus on things that we love and be obsessed about those things. But they have also a very good sense of details. They can notice a lot of little things. This is why people who are autistic, for instance, can see and spot when someone is lying, because they can see the voice, the face, something. It's very obvious. And so yes, but also it's a spectrum. And so there's not one autistic person that is exactly like everyone. It's important to realize that all those conditions, whatever they may be, are all spectrums. So when you go on TikTok and you see some people who are saying, I've got this because I have autism, it's not necessarily true. Maybe it's just because this is who you are, maybe it's because you have some comorbidities and so it's something else. And you don't know this and you believe that it's the autism. And it goes the same with ADHD, with bipolar, with borderline, with whatever people say they are, or they think that they have. It's not necessarily because of that. It's important to learn about it, to read, and to go and see specialists as well. If you believe that you may be on the spectrum of something. Where am I? Reds, I think I may be autistic. I yearn for a clan. Joking. A clan. I don't understand what you mean, but you're joking. It's okay. Roblox. A Latin square is a square with n 2 units and n elements. Each row and column can only have 2 elements appear once. A good example is Sudoku. Okay, it's too complicated for me. My brain is not ready for that today. Thank you for the information, but I don't know what to do with this, I'm afraid. Parody. Reds, I'm most likely autistic. Just cost too much to get evaluated. Okay? In that case, this is the thing. If you know, you know, right? If you're of a certain age and you spend a lot of time month reading, thinking about your past and comparing, and it feels that it's right, it may be pretty much the case. The truth of the matter is that I believe that so many of us are undiagnosed, especially those who are of a certain age, because back then, no one knew about mental health. It's only in the last 20 years that we started to really have that conversation and also have the science to understand more about it. One of the most important breakthroughs about mental health is all those machines, those scans that can actually get us to see what is happening in the brain as it's happening. And so this has helped us debunk pretty much everything that we believed in the past in regards to mental health. And so yes, so now things are better, we understand more, and there are new, better systems also that can help people. Roblox, a religious Latin square. Parody. Red. I never felt like I fit in, no matter where I was. I became drained at social situations. Okay, there you go. I felt misunderstood most of the time. I couldn't focus, was called lazy, fidgeted during class, etc. Yes, yes. So this is what happens. Also when we have ADHD or trauma. What we don't realize is that the symptoms of trauma are very similar, and sometimes we also have comorbidities. So we can have all of them, like me. I have ADHD, bipolar, borderline, and CPTSD. And so there's a thin line, there's a lot of overlaps. But yes, whatever that we have, if we have suffered from something that has created disruption in our sense of safety, then our brain will develop differently, and that's why and how we are neurodivergent. Neurodivergent is not just about autistic and ADHD people. It's anyone who's got a brain who is not functioning the way a neurotypical brain would. So trauma does that. If you are on a constant state of alertness, your brain has not developed some part of it properly and is in a constant state of survival. Neurodivergent. One of the way neurodivergent is expressed. Roblox, possible ADHD. Okay. Reds, I do, but again, clarity like seeing, so maybe not. Parody, also, would mistake things people said. I could feel, okay, you would mistake things that people said. Okay, I could feel it deeply. My anxiety was very high, self-conscious. Okay, yes, no, yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised, Parody. Reds, also, maybe it's like you were saying earlier, like we perceive when we seek to. I also have like a little PTSD or did so witness some traumatic dangerous stuff. We don't have a little PTSD. We have trauma or not. And trauma is a spectrum. And so I understand what you say when you say that you have a little PTSD is because it's not a major thing that happened to you, right? But it's still a trauma. There are two types of trauma. You have trauma with a big T and trauma with a small t. Trauma with a big T is an abuse, it's an accident, it's something that is overwhelming, it's a natural disaster, catastrophe that you are victim of, all those sort of things. And trauma with a small t is neglect. Is you not feeling safe because your parents were not there, or because they were there, but they didn't love you, and so you didn't feel accepted, and so you didn't feel supported, and so you didn't feel protected by your parents, and so you had to develop a personality to be seen, to be accepted, to please them. You become a people pleaser to survive. It's a survival strategy. And so the trauma is not what happened to you. The trauma is what an event did to you and how you changed as a result of that event. And so we have trauma when we feel at any given time in our life that we're not safe, that we're at the risk of not making it. That the brain, the nervous system is freaking out. It's going to remember this. It's going to make sure that it's going to remind you all of your life that you had that thing, and then you need to be ready for those things again. And it's going to develop all sorts of systems to protect you from the bad things. So it can be anxiety, depression, addiction, self-sabotage, anger issues, all of those things were systems that we created originally to protect us from whatever happened to us happening again. Now, we feel we have little emotional triggers that are reminding us it's happening again. Now you need to do something about it. And all those things are going to come to protect us, even though we're creating more problems than not in reality. But again, all the systems we came up with in childhood were designed by a child, and so they're never meant to support an adult's life. And that's why it doesn't work. But yes, if our parents were not giving us the love that we needed, it can be even small things. If we've been punished, if we've been told, oh, make us proud, and we could only be loved when we made them proud, then we're going to go into a state, I've got to make them proud, otherwise my parents are not there, they're not going to love me, they're not going to protect me. Now we're back into survival mode. And so we're going to develop a personality, we're going to do everything that we can to be number one, to make them proud. We're going to be very high achievers, highly competitive, of sort of things. And this is coming from a place of survival. Some people are good at what they do and they succeed. But some people are good at what they do not because they love what they do, but because they're scared, they're terrified of not being enough and not being seen and not being accepted unless they do that. So, same outcome, two different energy that drives that outcome, and it's important to pay attention to how we feel. Because the way we feel about anything really creates the nature of it, right? We can have success and appreciate it, or we can have success and still live miserably and hate ourselves and feel depressed. Christine, hello, Christine. Reds, oh, forget that. Parody, Reds, I also have CPTSD. Yes, I'm not surprised. Yes, I remember. We had a chat, and yes, CPTSD is very, very tricky because it happens all throughout our childhood, and so for many of us, we don't even know that we have CPTSD because we believe that it's normal. We don't have any reference. That's all that we know. And so a lot of people spend their life with CPTSD symptoms without realizing that it was never normal. Right, we're as we should be in this moment. Red's parody, feeling as if anything. Parody could point to your desire, pointing to necessity to discern. Okay, I didn't understand the last bit, but this is between you and Parody, so it's good. Okay, guys, I'm coming to the end of the thread for now, and so again, ask me anything you want to talk about. I'm just checking that I'm still there. I am. Okay. If I don't have any comments, I can talk about other stuff in the meantime. Again, for those who are new, I come here on YouTube every Saturday. So today I started at 5 p.m. UK time. I'm trying different times, but I will probably try the same again next week. And I aim to stay about 2 hours and answer any question that you would like to ask me about psychology, mental health, human behavior, and all those things. Reid, what do you think about the convo between me and Parody? Nothing much. This is between you and her. It seems quite nice, so I'm happy with that. The Void Samurai. Hello, this is my first time commenting on this channel. Thank you. I have a question that I hope you can help me with it. Okay, looking forward to this. Right, question mark. Yeah, no, I don't know what to say. This is you and Parody. Parody, your feelings on how to help create a change in a school system that has a huge bullying issue. All right. Yes. Okay, so you're asking me about my feelings about how to help create change in the school system. If you want to create change in the school system, there are many ways to look at it. The most important thing to do, and it's going to be a long-term strategy, is to teach everyone about kindness, about compassion, about empathy. Just like that. Now, for the school system itself, the reason I'm saying this is because people run schools. And so if you have someone that is compassionate, it's easy. They will address those things. But if you have someone who doesn't care, who's not there yet, it's not going to work, right? We're still limited by people. It's the people who run things. And so you can create a program, you can write books, you can create courses, you can send some ideas to whoever are in charge. You can. This is what we can do. Um, Let me think about it. From a practical point of view, raise the awareness, teach people, do some seminars, explain. So this is what happens, and parents don't see this, but for kids, da, 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 and kids are like that because of the parents. So this was always down to this. Kids bully others because they're being taught to bully. They're either being bullied by their own parents, or this is the culture that we have, they bully others. So in the end, this is what they do. And so it all starts at home, and this is why it's a tricky one. Because no matter what we do, there's so many people into the equation. And that's why the best thing we can do is to generally speak more about it, write things, talk, create some events where we talk, explain things to people, and raise more and more awareness. That's what we can do, right? If you're lucky, you will have some people who get you and they will take action. And if you're not lucky, that's the way it is. Just keep doing your best. I know that there's a lot of issues because I see on TikTok a lot of people who tell about the stories about their kids being bullied and no one does anything in school. So that's a problem. I'd say address problems in the way that is affecting you directly. I'm not sure how, but if I think about something, I can let you know. But because your child is being bullied, is that correct? If your child is being bullied, I would do everything in my power to let everyone know about it. Now, if you tried everything and no one is doing anything, you've got nothing to lose. So you might as well go on social media. How about that? There's something amazing called cancel culture. But then again, I don't know about where you live and what is happening there, because that could be also a problem. It could be dangerous for you. It depends on how many people are more like you or not. It's a tricky one. And so whatever it is, do whatever is easier for you. I think you mentioned that you would be tutoring your child at home from now on. So that could be a good idea. If there are too many unhappy and toxic people out there in the school of your child, maybe it's easier to do it like that in the meantime. Can you find some schools where they have more people who are neurodivergent, as in kids, neurodivergent kids, or even teachers? The Void Samurai. I feel kind of lonely, but I have some close friends, but I don't want to nag with them about my loneliness because I don't want to annoy them too much. Is there any way to cope and live along with it? Yes, you want to change. You want to change. If you feel that you're going to nag your friends, if you feel that if you tell them that you're lonely, and if you feel that it's going to annoy them, they're not your friends. That's what friends are here for. They're there to listen to you, to keep you company, to support you, to be on your side. And so what you want to do is to change the way that you are. You want to learn to accept that it's important to be vulnerable. It's important for you to connect, to ask for help, to ask to be seen, to speak out your truth, to express yourself. Right? The problem is that, so I don't know about your gender, but just based on the Void Samurai and the things that you say, I'm assuming that you are a man. Am I correct to assume so? Please correct me if I'm wrong. But if you are, then that will actually not be a surprise, because in our society, men are being taught that they must be strong and silent. They keep their problems, they don't share them, they don't make any problems. Generally speaking, women are more emotionally intelligent. They have girlfriends or gay friends, and they open themselves to them. They ask for help, they share their problems, and it's much better because we can unload instead of keeping all that toxic energy trapped inside of their body and their mind, right? And so if you feel kind of lonely, speak out your truth. Learn how to seek out for help. First, ask your friends. If they're your friends, they will listen to you, they will keep you company, they will make you feel better. If they don't, they're not your friends, really. They only enjoy the way you come across, but they don't see you as a person, they don't care about your feelings. and a friend should care about your feelings. Right? And so, if anything, use this as a way to find out whether or not by your friends or not. Right? Tell them, guys, I feel lonely, I'm not, and then you'll be surprised, because think about this, if you're like that, they could be also like that. So what it means is that if you can show them how it is to be vulnerable, you can teach them to do the same as well. And now you can help them just as much from that terrible habit that is emotional repression, trying to always be strong, to come across as stoic and successful and happy and good. No one is always like that. We all need help at some point. We can all feel lonely at some point. So it's important for you to use your friends for what they're meant to be, right? Connect with them, speak with them, open yourself to them. If they're your friends, you will never nag them. Now there's a part of you that finds it difficult also because maybe the way that you see yourself. If you find it difficult to open yourself to others, and also if you don't want to nag them, if you don't want to be a problem, a hindrance to them, it's because when you were a child, your parents made you feel like that. Leave me alone. I'm reading my newspaper. I'm watching television, And because of that, you believed that love, as in unconditional love, is not available to me. And so I don't want to be a hindrance. You've been walking on eggshells around your parents, probably, when you were a child, and now you're doing it around your friends. But you want to change this because you are you. You have the right to be happy. You have the right to make some noise. You have the right to speak out your truth. You have the right to be heard, to be seen, and to express yourself for who you are. And we all have that right. And once you can embrace that right, you can find happiness. And you will connect with more people like that. And you can even help others by showing them how to be. Do you believe that you suffer from depression? Void Samurai? Parody. I tried to set up a meeting with the superintendent of schools. We questioned why I wanted to see him. I said I have ideas about how to help this. They already have anti-bullying specialist, but it isn't enough. I sit with my son and as a part-time teacher now. So do whatever you feel is right. They already have some measure into place, but it's not enough for you. So either you can focus on the progress, or you can focus on your specific particular case. So what I believe is that they're already doing things, but it's not enough for you. And so address your case. Don't try to change everything. Just address your own case. Did you tell them about your child being bullied? Maybe that's the way you want to do this. Tell them, I love the fact that you're doing all those things. It's great, but my child is still being bullied. So what can we do? And also, what can you do in regards to that? Tell them directly, what are you going to do about the fact that my child is being bullied by those other kids? What are you going to do? You are the adults, so you're in charge. See what you can do. I don't have any solutions for you. It's for you to find them. But yeah. Red 57 with a child at school age. That's amazing. Parody is the small things that kids say to my son. It adds up, and he cried to me the other night. At my job, I see how mean children are to one another, and it breaks my heart. So what you can do is to teach your child to change. There's some things that he can change about himself. If he's thinking like that, it's because you are thinking like that. He has copied that from you. I'm sorry to say, but it's the truth. So if you can tell him, you know what, things are going to change. Now we don't care about what they say. Whatever they say has got nothing to do with us. We don't need to react to that. Teach your child that everyone is projecting. Teach your child that only very hurt people hurt others, and they're very miserable, and whatever they say doesn't matter. Unless they are physically assaulting your child, it's just words, and you can actually teach your child how not to take it personally. But for this to happen, you need to be able to demonstrate this. If you react to those things, your child will react to it because your child is learning from you. But if you can learn how to not react, but it's got to be from a true place, right? If you pretend, your child will still feel that you are making this up. But if you can really demonstrate, you know what, the world will always be making noise. It's got nothing to do with us. Let them. And focus on the things that you know about yourself to be true and to be empowering. And so over time, it's possible to teach to change some aspect of how your child is going to respond to the outer world. It's about addressing that belief, the belief that what people say matters, what people say is true, what people say can hurt me. It's just a belief. It's not true. I don't care, for instance. It took me a lifetime to get rid of that because I was so insecure and obsessed with what others said about me because of my conditions all my life. And now I couldn't care less because I finally learned my lesson. And you can do this, and you can teach your son that as well. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is not to try to change the world as it is, but to change ourselves. And so, back to self-development, growth, healing, and it's about you addressing your own belief. Address why you are reacting so much to what people say. Find a way to dismiss, realize that they're just thoughts. They're not true. They're only true if you accept them as truth. So of course it's a process, and we can talk about this, and it's different for everyone. But these are the big lines of what I would recommend you to do in regards to your child being bullied, to your son. Teach your son not to care about it, and if he can learn that, you taught him something amazing, right? But for you to teach him, you need to walk the walk first. Reds, I pulled one of my children out of school because he was not thriving, although I know he could. He wasn't there, not willing to. And therefore that's okay. Like there was a bully thing going on. Okay, so yeah, so you protect your child like that. Why not? Yeah, that sounds good to me. The Void Samurai. Yes, I am a man. Okay, so did what I said resonate with you? We live in a patriarchal society. Men, like boys, will be boys. And girls and women, they must be quiet, they must be submissive, they must be obedient. They can only be the Disney princess in their life, that's all they can do. But a lot of us will believe that because we've been conditioned by society. And so, man, strong, silent, always brave, always successful, always in charge, always solving everything. And we can't do this all the time, we're just humans. And so you want to change this. Emotions, bad. Control your emotions. Control yourself. Don't be angry. Boys don't cry. All those things. And now we don't know what to do with our own emotions and feelings. So it's very important for you to let go of those beliefs. Learn how to reconnect with yourself. Learn how to be vulnerable. Learn how to open yourself. That's my suggestion. We can talk about this more if you want. Parody, it's true. When we tell our stories, we help others to feel comfortable to tell theirs. Yes? Red, this. The Void Samurai, thank you so much for the advice and reassuring words. That really touched my heart. Fantastic, thank you. Thank you again, thank you. Parody, I try. He shuts me down now if I ask too many questions, but I think it's his age. I hear what you're saying. I need to help him with his self-esteem. Okay, so we're on the same wavelength. So learn how to have more self-esteem yourself. Show him by being. And just like that, he will start to pay attention to you. Right? But there's a part of maybe, so I don't know, but I'm just assuming, it could be wrong, but there's a part of you maybe that is irritating your son. Because when you are freaking out, despairing, maybe he doesn't want to have more of this. He wants to have some sort of control. He wants to have a role model that tells him, be strong. This is how we do this. Tell them to F off or ignore them, And so maybe that's why your son doesn't want to listen to you, because he may be irritated by some sense of despair coming from you, maybe. So again, it's not your fault. And it's a process, but you can learn maybe how to upgrade some part of you in regards to that. Proudy, thank you. Blue Heart, thank you so much, Proudy. Lakshya Mathur, hi, I often feel stressed about deadlines and have trouble sleeping and thinking clearly. I also feel incompetent and feel like I am being left behind. Okay, so in your second comment, you have answered your first question. You feel stressed out about deadlines because you believe that you're incompetent. You believe that you're going to be left behind. You believe that you're not smart enough, that you're not good enough, that you're not powerful enough. And so because of that belief, now you are stressed out about deadlines. Because when the deadlines come, your subconscious mind is thinking, what comes with the deadline? me failing, me not succeeding, me being rejected, me making a fool of myself in front of people. So what you want to do is to change that belief. Change the belief that there's anything wrong about you. You're not stupid, you're not lazy, you're not incapable. Those are the beliefs that you want to address. As long as you believe that, you will suffer from the deadline, from the pressure of the deadline. You will suffer from the pressure of what others are thinking about you. Whatever that you do is so heavy in consequences. That's why there's so much stress and pressure involved. So what you want to do is to disarm the stress by reminding yourself, I am who I am, I do my best, and sometimes I win, sometimes I don't, but I always grow and I'm always learning. And so it doesn't matter what happens if I win or not. If I do that exam, I'm doing my best. I can't do more than my best. But I can't also do less than my best. So I accept that I am going through that thing, and whatever happens, happens. I had to be more mentally and emotionally maybe flexible. But it's all down to one belief, and you say it yourself. I feel incompetent. You have an imposter syndrome. You feel that you cannot succeed. You don't deserve success, or you're just not good enough. That's because this is how you've been spoken to when you were a child. And so that voice is still there, somewhere in the back of your head. And it's reminding you of that to try to protect you. But it's not helping you because it's making you feel worse now, more stress. And if you have more stress and anxiety in that moment, you won't be able to focus on your exam, and so your brain will not be optimal either. Find out the reasons as to why you believe that you're incompetent, and change that. You're not incompetent. It's not true. We are all either competent or incompetent depending on the context. There are things that I'm great at, there are things that I'm rubbish at, and we all are. And so it doesn't say anything about you as a person. It only means that you have a recollection of something that happened to you, an incident that created that belief that you have about yourself. But that belief is not true, as in you're not incompetent at everything in life. You have some fields maybe where you are stronger than others because it comes more naturally to you than other stuff. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn. It doesn't mean that you can develop ways to make it eventually easy for you. I hope it makes sense. Does it, Lakshya? Parody, OMG, you are so correct. He doesn't want a big reaction. Okay, so there you go. So you are starting to have some self-awareness about your behavior in regards to that conversation, right? Parody, thank you again, Didi. You have truly helped me realize something here. All right, fantastic. Yes, thank you, Parody. I'm so happy with this. Always is very rewarding for me to be able to create some little aha moments. Pumpkins Puff. Hi Didi. How do I accept where I am in life and not think I am failed because I don't strive to do a lot with my life? I just want to live and not be stressed about how I am good enough. Okay, so again, your answer is in your question. You accept where you are in life by realizing that this is your choice, this is your preference, this is your life. The reason why you find it difficult to accept is because you have a little voice in your head, in the back of your mind, telling you, you should be doing this, you should have this, you should show people that. But it's not true. You don't care about any of those things. You say it yourself. You just want to live and not be stressed out about not being good enough. So focus on, practice mindfulness, practice meditation, practice on focusing on the littlest things, and practice gratitude, practice appreciation, practice presence. Enjoy all the little things in life. If you can do this, you are more successful than anyone else in the world, no matter what they have, because you are present and you can appreciate anything, right? And so how do you accept? By changing your mindset, by changing your paradigm, by changing your habits of thought and behavior. Don't worry about what others think or say, whatever your parents wanted you to become, whatever your community tells you should be, if you want to be respected and accepted. None of those bullshit matters. It doesn't matter. This is their paradigm. It is their reality. Your reality is that you want to be happy. You want to enjoy. Like me, I do this all the time. I go to the park. I'm going to go tonight. I sit down on the bench and I enjoy the trees, the fresh air, the little birds, the clouds, if it's nighttime. I love that. And to me, there's nothing better than that. I mean, there are things, I love many things, but this is one of my highlights of my life. And it's so simple, and it's so precious at the same time, right? And so learn how to be more mindful, and learn how to appreciate things, and forget about what others think or say. It doesn't matter. This is their life. It's not your life. Your life, you actually have more awareness than them, because you realize that all of those things are superficial. You realize that none of those things never means anything to you. Hope it makes sense. You can practice this in everything, like when you eat, when you drink coffee, whatever that you do. I mean, to make this a celebration, a party. So it's not just me gulping coffee. Yeah. I'm smelling it, I'm seeing it, I'm feeling the cup, I'm having the sensation of the liquid going down here. I can feel the caffeine kicking in, I can feel the smell. It's a whole experience. I'm present. There's so much more to this than just... And in that moment, I've created a little moment out of that coffee. And you can do this for everything at all. And this is how you develop your mind, how to be more present, and how to make the most out of the littlest things. This is where happiness lies, in the little moments, not in those big pursuits that are endless anyway. It's what we call the realm of the hungry ghost. If we follow the principles of Buddhism, it's endless. But if you can appreciate what we have right here and now, then we can appreciate everything. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have bigger things, but what it means is that we can appreciate the bigger things, and the smallest thing, we can appreciate so much more of our life. Does it help, Pumpkin Puff? Red, I am self-aware, but like my husband mocking me and pretending he's bantering. Resent, question mark. Let me try to understand. I am self-aware, but like my husband mocking me and pretending he's bantering. I don't understand. So your husband is mocking you. Does it affect you? Does it annoy you? Does it hurt your feelings? Is he saying it's just a joke? Because if that's what you say, then he's in the wrong and he must change. If he says it's just a joke and he's laughing at your expense and he's hurting your feelings and he's pretending that it's just banter, then he's not paying attention to your feelings. He doesn't care about how you feel. He doesn't love you in that moment. He just wants to express his ways. He's not listening to you. He's not paying attention to you. He needs to develop emotional intelligence and realize that what I say is not just a joke. It's hurting your feelings. So if he loves you, he would say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Let me change. Let me learn. Let me grow. But very often people are so attached to the way they are and they feel attacked. How dare you criticize my sense of humor? Why are you taking things so personally? And they can be very nasty, and it's not their fault. They're also reacting because it's the only way they know how to deal with the situation because of whatever happened to them with their own parents and family. And so it's a bag of noodles, but essentially what you want to do is to accept and realize that this is not good, I want to address this. And then find a way to communicate with your husband, sit down and say, you know what, I know that you love me and I love you so much, but you need to show me because you hurt me. It hurts me. It's painful to me whenever you do these things. I don't like it at all. So if you love me, please make an effort. Otherwise, if you are telling me to change, now you're gaslighting me. Those are the things that people who are narcissistic, for instance, do. They don't take accountability and they put everyone else, they make them feel bad about themselves even more instead of salvaging the situation. So, yes, you don't want to resent. You want to explain, you want to communicate, you want to reconnect somehow with your husband. Unless you don't agree, you've been at war for a long time, and maybe it's time for you to separate. Not all relationships, if anything, most relationships are not meant to last anyway. Is what you wanted to say, Red? Laksha. Thank you. Yes, it makes sense. Fantastic. But sometimes I feel that internal monologues doesn't stop. It always makes me consider the worst possible scenarios in every circumstances, what to do. You need to learn how to have a better relationship with your thoughts. So nothing is easy when it's new, but what you want to realize that is that the thought that you have is just a habit. It's like a train. It's got a momentum. And this is the way that you do things, because this is all that you've been doing all your life. But you can learn how to change that gradually through repetition and repetition. You can change your internal dialogue. You can change the monologue that you're talking about. That voice is just a habit of thought. This is not even new thinking about it, it's just the habit of it. And so you can create a space between you and that voice and realize, I am noticing that I'm having a thought. What is that thought saying? That thought is saying that da 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 da. You can create a space and ask yourself, is it true? Do I want to accept that as a truth? Is it necessary? Is it kind for me to entertain that sort of thought? You can choose that. It takes work, repetition, and it's a process, but you can learn how to have a different relationship with your thoughts. You don't want to take your thoughts like truth. Don't believe in your thoughts. They are just a habit. What you want to do is to change the habit gradually. But for this to happen, first, you must realize that the thoughts that you have in your head, they're not true, and they don't even come from you. They're just a program that you keep on pressing play every morning. It repeats itself all the time. But you can question those thoughts. Right? Ask yourself, that thought, is it true? As in, is it accurate? Does it represent reality precisely and accurately? Number two, is it useful? Does it serve me any purpose to have that thought? Number three, is it kind? Is it kind to me or anyone for me to have that thought? Because you can choose another thought. And eventually, you can tell yourself, you know what? It's not true, it's not kind, it's not helpful. So I'm not going to believe that thought anymore. I'm going to choose to think about the opposite of it. So if you think I'm not enough, choose, you know what? I am enough. And I'm going to put my detective hat on, my detective mindset, and seek for all the memories that I have about myself that can remind me that I am enough. I had success, I had achievements, I had people who love me, I had this and that. I'm going to remind myself of all of that so that I can bring that power in me in that moment. You do this again and again and again and again. And as I said at the beginning, nothing is easy when it's new. But everything becomes easier by virtue of repetition. Everything in your life was once hard and eventually becomes automatic. You don't even think about it. It's so easy. It's your program, right? And so, yes. Does it help, Daksha? Red. Well, yes, present. No, resent. So you resent him for doing this. But is that real help to be able to deal with? Because I am very able to. I won't let him see it hurts because I won't give him the power anymore as I have 4 kids. So you fight, you have 4 kids, you're separate, and you don't like the fact that he's mentoring you. Okay, if you're not together anymore, it doesn't matter. Just tell him, stop this. I don't like it. If you don't have the leverage of him caring for your feelings, if you know that he doesn't care about you, just don't speak to him. Tell him, if you set your boundaries. If you speak to me like that, if you do those pranks again, you're not going to see me. You're not going to talk to me again. I'm not going to talk to you. And then when you have your kids, then you deal with your kids. And I don't know, what situation do you have? But this is the thing, I won't let. Do you want him to know or not? Because if you are not telling him, there could be a situation that, there could be a case that he doesn't want to hurt you, but he just doesn't know. He thinks that you accept it. He thinks that you're okay with that. So you have to make sure that you know that he knows. Tell him. But if you think that if you don't get along, then it's different. If you don't get along, set boundaries. You don't need to suffer him anymore. You're not together anymore. Which one is it? Could you clarify this for me, please? Red. Pumpkins and puff. So enjoy and appreciate the little parts in life instead of focusing on the big things. Yes, learn how to focus on the small things. And the big things will happen anyway, right? You are doing things that will eventually become big when it's meant to become big. But you don't need to think about it. You don't need to project into a future and wanting everything to be perfect. Just focus on now. Now is all there is anyway. And even in regards to the big things, when you focus on now, whatever that you create will be better eventually, including the big things. Does it work, pumpkin puff? Red. Does the reconnect only come through me accepting it? I'm not sure what you mean. Accepting what? The reconnect, are you talking about you reconnecting with your husband? For you to reconnect with your husband, I'm not sure, this is confusing. Could you ask me again, please? I don't understand the question. Does reconnect only come through me accepting it? What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I want to find out to understand, but it's very, very confusing for my brain. Could you ask me again in a different way, perhaps, so that I can understand what you mean? Me. ME. Social media leads to more isolation and also provides a platform for obsessive, neurotic preoccupation/topics. The algorithm only intensifying the obsession experiences. Action matters too. Okay, so basically, you are criticizing social media. I'm going to say something to you. Social media is not the problem. Social media and anything that exists in the society has been created because there was a demand, because this is how we evolve. What matters is our attitude to that. Social media is no more or less than a tool. If we're going to be obsessed with TikTok or anything like that, it's because we already have a propensity for that in the first place. A lot of people, they don't have any problem with that. Some do. And it's being reflected at that. And now people are being blaming social media. But it was never the technology. It was never the tool. Things are just things. What matters is the mind that is using that thing. And it's like everything else. It's like religion. Religion is just a thing. The mind that uses it is going to determine what sort of relationship we're going to have with religion. And technology, any type of technology is exactly the same. I remember when internet was invented, everyone was going, internet, bad, bad. No. There are some good things and some bad things. It depends. It's the same thing with social media. It's the same thing with everything. But people do this because they want you to focus on the thing instead of focusing on the people. So that we have an illusion of control. There's a witch to burn. It's because of that. And all the villagers are going to go with a pitchfork. Oh, let's burn the witch. But it's not that. A tool is just a tool. What matters is our mindset. Why do we have a propensity for that? People who are hooked onto social media, they already have anxiety, they already have stress, they already have all of those mental and emotional conditions, depression, ADHD. And so it was never because of the social media. If it wasn't for that, their problem would be expressing differently through their lives, but it will still be there. So yeah, now I agree with you, it is very addictive. But again, even though it's designed for that, people who fall for that have a propensity for that. It's never just this or that. And it's the same with any type of addiction. People who get addicted, it's never because PORN or video games or cryptocurrency or whatever that it is, work or gym. We can be addicted to work and gym. Whatever that we're addicted to is not because of the thing. It's because we have some sort of imbalance. So we use this to kind of regulate how we feel about ourselves. And so, yeah. Do you agree with me? Me. Red, being light with it, Red, like you are saying, how my finding offense just habitual and like he's my husband, perhaps I should let go. Or could. What matters is how you feel. There's no should. Whatever people say, you should be doing this, they're just being self-righteous, they're just projecting their own reality, they have no consideration into your own internal experience. And so, what is your internal experience? What do you feel about it? Listen to intuition, listen to your body. If you feel that there's something wrong, your body is telling you something, there's something wrong. If you think, but no, it's normal, you should accept this, now you are repressing how you're feeling. You're allowing for society, for people to control and manipulate your life. Don't. Choose to listen to your inner being, to your inner child. Reconnect with yourself and listen what it says to you. Pay attention to how you feel. We are humans, and the most important aspect of our humanity is how we feel. And so we have systems into place, not only emotionally, not only sensations and feelings in our body, but also intuition, inspiration. All of those things, they are all there to guide us and to give us the human experience. And so don't repress it, don't suppress it, don't ignore it, don't condemn it, don't be ashamed of it, don't dismiss it, because some people say, it's normal, you're too sensitive. No, fuck them. Listen to you and to how you feel and see what happens. Me, social media isolation create neuroticism. It's only one small fraction of the equation. There's a part of it in it. Indeed, I agree with that. But it's not just that. Reds, I am with him, okay? I'm just blowing up the importance of my feelings, obviously. You're not blowing up, not at all. You want to express your feelings. See? This is what people do. This is what society do. Don't be so stupid. Don't be so sensitive. Control yourself. And now you're hurting yourself. It's going to create a lot of physical illnesses for you at a later stage in your life. All that repressed toxic energy that you keep trapped in your belly, in your stomach, in your chest, in your body, in your spine. You're not blowing, you're just being a human being, and you want to acknowledge this, you want to honor this. Your feelings are more important than what people say. Parody, Reds, your feelings are important. Yes, precisely. Thank you, Parody. Reds, thank you, Parody. Reds, kissing face emoji. Parody, just like food, my ex is addicted to food. Okay, so this is a different conversation. Yes, you're talking about addiction. Yes, food is an addiction, absolutely, amongst many. But it's a very common one because it's accessible. And there's also something to do with how we function. It's a very basic thing, eating, we all eat. Reds, I absolutely agree with social media is not the problem, OMG. I had a dream last night, made that clear. Okay, thank you, Reds. Pumpkin Puff, thank you, Didi, I appreciate your advice. I will work on learning mindfulness. I will start with my cup of coffee as well, fantastic. I apologize for mistyping. It's okay, it's all good. Think about it, when you eat, it's a great thing to do. When you eat, we all do that. We even watch television or computer as we're eating. So we're just gulping food down. Start with eating. When you eat, make it a celebration. Think about each mouthful like a celebration. Fantastic food, exciting food. Look at your food. Smell it. Look at the smoke coming out from the heat of it. Salivate. Think about the process of cooking it. People who grew the vegetables and turning it into that. All the process that has been done to get to that point. Celebrate this, appreciate this, be grateful about it. And then when you put it into your mouth, take your time. Chew, savor, flavor. Allow for the taste to fill up your palate, and take your time to chew it as long as you can, to really, really squeeze out every little ounce of flavor out of it, so that your sense can, your brain can have a little room party, and then feel it going down your belly. And then once it's done, move on to the next one, and so forth and so on. Just eating is the great way to get started. Whatever that you eat, it can be, I don't know, a grape, it can be a full-on dinner, but I think it's a great place to get started, because we all eat, and most of all, we're not aware of this. And also, if you do this, you will digest better. So it will help you also address some aspect of your physical health. But also, you're practicing gratitude as well. You're reminding yourself, I may have a lot of problems and headaches and worries, but I'm enjoying that food. I'm so lucky. A lot of people on this planet, they don't have food. So just that, does all of those things at the same time. Try this and see what happens. And then you can apply this on other stuff. When you get ready in the morning, look at your face, brush your teeth, pay attention to where your brush is going to go each tooth. Learn how to have a laser mind, focus on all the littlest things and appreciate those things. There's so much to appreciate. But our head is always overwhelming us with worries, fear, anxiety, or anger, resentment, and we are not aware we are wasting all those precious moments. When we die, we have a lot of flashbacks about what happened to us all throughout our life. But if we are always thinking about tomorrow or yesterday, we're not creating new moments. And so we're going to have a very short amount of flashbacks. I was born, I was happy, I was unhappy, bang, I'm dead. But if you can be present more, now you've got so much more to go through, because you're creating more moments, because you're more alive. Being present, being mindful is literally being here in the moment and living your life, as opposed to thinking about it, as opposed to being worried about it. as opposed to being angry at the past. That doesn't exist, or at least not now. It doesn't have to anymore. Reds, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Reds. I'm glad you do. Parody, this was all very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much. Reds, are we all just trying to one-up each other because we're scared of one another? Because we can't see what we don't see? It depends. We're all different. Everyone is different. Everyone has got a different set of priorities, a set of different emotional triggers and belief. So it depends. But there's one thing that is common, however, is that for the vast majority of us, we are not aware that we have indeed that belief system that is hindering the way we think, the way we feel, the way we see things and interpret reality, the way we're going to react to things and respond to people or not. And we can change all of this with self-awareness. Red, this is our nature to preserve the human race. It's not that it's our nature. There are part of us that are designed for survival. Right? And so if you don't have self-awareness, yes, everything about us will be about self-preservation. And it will often come at the expense of others or even self. But if we can realize that we can do two things, we're not here to survive. The survival mode is there if we need to survive. We are here to grow, to expand, to evolve. This is what we're meant to do. We're here to thrive. We're here to develop. We're here to find out what we can do, discover our potential, and make things bigger, better. Evolution, right? But because we don't know this, because of society, because of our parents, because of education, because of the system, because of the belief that are there, we believe that it's a dog-eat-dog world. We believe that we must protect against the others. We believe that there's not enough goodness in the world for all to share. We believe that some people are better than others, and so we are the better ones. They are the worst ones. We must destroy them. We believe all of those things. And because of that, we suffer, our humanity. But this is our primitive aspect. We don't need to survive anymore. For the vast majority of us, some of us need to survive. Right? Again, if you live in a country at war, if you live in extreme poverty, if you live with some dangerous people, abusive people, and you can't escape from them, this is survival. But for everyone else, we don't need to survive. We're being led to stay into survival mode by people at the top so that they can control and manipulate us. We don't have to. We can find peace and mental clarity in this moment. And once we gain peace and clarity, we can grow, we can expand, and we can connect with other people, we can change the world. Red, but we're just recycling like there's no get out. Karma is us, nothing new under the sun. Parody, lol. Pumpkin Puff, would mindfulness also help with self-esteem? Being comfortable with myself even when others wish more of me? Yes, absolutely. When you are practicing mindfulness, you're focusing on this moment, as opposed to focusing on what your head is telling you. You should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should even when others they're wishing more of me. It's their problem. It's got nothing to do with you. Think about them like a bunch of kids. I want, me. It's their problem. It's got nothing to do with you. But you believe that because you have that belief. But the more you focus on now, the more you focus on change, you can either focus your mind on what they think of you or what you want to feel about yourself. It's your choice. And the more you do this, the more you are reinforcing the new habit. Everything that you do out of repetition becomes a new habit eventually. But repetition. It may take a long time, but this is the path. And you want to focus on what makes you feel good. Little moments, peace. Practice gratitude. Practice forgiveness. Practice appreciation. Practice compassion to self and others. Practice just being present. And the more you do this, the more you become better at it. And your brain is plastic. It's going to adapt to this eventually. It will. Like everything else. Everything that we do, everything that we are just habits. Habits of thoughts, habits of emotions, habits of behavior, actions, and reactions. And so yes, this is the long path. Now there are some shortcuts, right? There's a lot of systems that you can learn how to gain self-esteem much quicker. But unless you want to invest in personal development or therapy, this is the way to go. It will lead you there eventually. Reds, evolution is aging. I don't understand. Evolution is aging. Evolution is growing. Aging is just a comparison in regards to time. And there may be some conversation where it's relevant, but generally speaking, I don't see evolution as aging. Evolution is growth. It's exciting. It's positive. WGV, what happened to your eyebrows? This is the way I am. We're all different, so please be kind. I have conditions. We all have different conditions, and many people like me have very thin eyebrows for all sorts of different reasons. So if you can, remember to be kind, please. Because a lot of people assume that we do it for fashion or whatever, but sometimes we don't want to talk about certain things that we have. We're all different. So please respect this. Reds, it's literally the mind realizing itself. It's time seeing itself. Okay, you're being philosophical here. Reds, and the more you are like, it has nothing to do with me, shows the egocentric nature of which is awareness, like know thyself. Okay. I don't know what to say about this, Reds. David Vickers, good evening from England. Good evening to you, David. How are you doing? This is a broadcast from London as well. So in the same time zone. Pumpkin Puff. Oh, I never considered that I was a habit. But it was a habit, but I was thinking of what others thought of me. Yes, it is. Yes. Thank you. Aha, little aha moment. So everything is a habit. A belief is just a thought that we keep thinking about. A belief is a thought that we consider as truth. But just a belief, everything is a belief. And so you can change anything about you. There's not a single thing about you that you can't change if you don't like it. Because everything is just a habit. I'm glad this was useful. So guys, I've been here for nearly a couple of hours. I'm happy to stay a bit longer if you have any more questions. If not, I can say goodbye slowly and gracefully. Pumpkin Puff. So my own thoughts are causing me to feel judged and feel like a threat. Yes, and just my mind. Wow, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Whatever people think or say is part of their little bubble. Whatever you think or say or feel is your bubble. And so when you feel something, it's down to what you think about yourself. It's not about what they say. There's a belief that you have up to this point that what they say is true. What they say is important. What they say will affect me. And because of that, now you accept their projection as your own truth. But you don't have to do this. You can choose to think they say things because people will say things anyway. There will always be people saying all sorts of things for all sorts of different reasons. It's got nothing to do with you. People judge others all the time because they're projecting their own reality of others. I'm going to read your comment again. I like it. So my own thoughts are causing me to feel judged and feel like I failed. It shows my mind. Wow, yes, yes. Red. Okay, thank you, Red. Pumpkin, thank you again, Didi. I greatly appreciate your advice and time. I will have to think about this more. Thank you so much. Come back to me. I will come back here next week. So I do live on TikTok twice a week in the evening and once on YouTube on Saturday afternoon. So I think I'm going to keep to that slot, 5 o'clock. 5 p.m. I stay a bit longer if people are keeping asking questions. But I think it's a good time for me as well at this point in time. So if you enjoy this, come back next week. We can talk about more things. Next Saturday, every Saturday at this point in time from 5 p.m. GMT, UK time. And if you have questions, write them down, bring them along. If you know anyone who can benefit from my help, get them involved. Remember, I'm a therapist and coach and author, and I create contents on YouTube and TikTok. And I will, hopefully, I'll talk about it every week. I just haven't got the time because I'm so busy with my practice. But I will create some long videos on YouTube, hopefully sooner than later. So keep an eye on it. In the meantime, both on YouTube and TikTok, I post 3 shorts every day. And I come live to talk to you guys. Okay? Kevin Tucker, what about the ones closest to you? What about them? Let me try to remember what I said. Yeah, it's the same. Whatever you think of you is none of your business. I know it's a tricky one. It's a hard one to accept, but it's their reality. And what I mean by that is that you don't want to dismiss what they say. You understand that they have feelings. So it's for you to find the balance. But understand that if they say something to you that is really hurtful to you, it's not on you. It's just a habit that you have developed all of your life, and it's a dynamic that is subconscious. So it's just happening. So you can tell them to change it. Or you can accept that they are, but it's not that important. You can accept them, and it depends how you feel. If you can overcome this, you can change the belief that you have about them expressing that so it doesn't touch you. But if it's really hurting you, you have to tell them, you are hurting my feelings. I never was able to realize it even. Now I have to tell you, don't do this, please, if you care about how I feel. And they should be able to address it. Unless they are very reactive, sometimes they are, or if they are narcissistic, sometimes people are like that as well. Then you have to come up with something else. It depends. Every cases are different. But the only problem is that people who are close to us, if you care about them, you need to juggle with some situations. But the truth is the same. People just project, and nothing of what they say has ever got anything to do with you. I would say, especially your closest ones. They're continuing a dynamic that was there even before them. The way they treat you is the way they have been treated by their own parents and their parents before them. So we're just continuing some habit. And if you don't like it, stop it. Tell them. If it's toxic to you, create a space between you and them. It's not normal. You don't have to accept it. You don't deserve that. No one does. So yes, it all depends on what you're talking about. If you want to give me more clarity about your specific case, we can discuss this, Kevin, if you want. Parody, thank you, Didi. Sending you hugs and positive vibes. Love you. Okay, you're going now. Okay, well, good night, good day. Good day. Yeah, I think we are 5 ahead apart. Good day to you. Thank you for joining. Come back next week. Hopefully we can talk more. And I wish you all the best. Remember everything that we talked about. Learn how to not react to the world as much as you can, if anything, to demonstrate your son how he can do this too. And I know that it's not easy, but it's possible. And everything starts with an awareness of it. And after that, it's for you to find out how to do this, in which way works best for you. Red, so do you feel challenged? Who, me? By who, by what? Could you expand your question, please? Do I feel challenged? I don't know. I think we all have challenges in life, of course, but I'm not sure what you have in mind. And what space do you find it from? I don't understand your question. We have very different brains. Like heart, mind. What do you mean? What are we talking about? Anything. You want to find out if anything challenges me? Okay. Yes, I'm a human being, and we will all go through challenges. All of us. Me, you, everyone else. And it's normal, and it's great. It's a good system. As long as it's a challenge, it means that the perception that we have of that obstacle is a positive and empowering one. But if you look at things like problems, on the other hand, now there's more of a defeated kind of energy, like disempowered. And so yes, everything is a challenge, and it's great. I love challenges. Challenges is what get us to grow and to become better human beings. Red, you're human. Yes, not societal, maybe integration. Oh, in regards to society, I don't care about society. I am myself. I know who I am. I'm creating my own reality, and I know that the right people will appreciate me for this. Just bear with me, please. This is telling me that I should put my TikTok post number 3 out, claiming
Exaggerating. You can read.
Okay, that. Okay, so what was I? Read, like responding, reasoning, why? Responding to what? I don't understand. I hope that something that what I said kind of answer your question. Read. Arlen Ready Ford, do you feel that our children are being exposed to narcissistic behavior? I don't know, it depends. Maybe. If they are exposed to some people who are narcissistic, yes. If they're not, no. So I don't know about your children. I don't know you, I don't know them, I don't know the context, the situation, the circumstances. I believe that people are people, and I believe that there are narcissists around, and some of us have experiences with them in childhood or in adulthood or both, right? Do you want to maybe explain to me how that thought comes into your mind so that I can understand the thought process behind this? Pumpkin Puff, do you have a quote or something that really resonates with you, or you feel like more people should know? Okay, yes. There's very many of them. It depends. But there are some of them that I use a lot. And one of them is from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And it goes like this. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. And that's a quote that resumes the whole process of healing and growth altogether. Everything about ourselves, from healing from mental and emotional trauma or baggage, to personal growth, to spiritual awakening, to everything is down to that. It's just about learning how to see things from a different perspective. It's about expanding our scope of vision. The more we can do this, the less our problems are problematic because they are becoming more and more inconsequential, irrelevant. And so, yeah, that's one of them. Another one that I also quote a lot, and I think is from Ram Dass, and it goes like this. The only one thing that you can do for me is to work on yourself. The only one thing that I can do for you is to work on myself. So again, back to therapy, back to self-development, to personal growth and all of those things. If we want to change the world, we want to change ourselves. As in, back to the first quote, changing how we see things, expanding our scope of vision, right? Does it help, pumpkins? Red, so are you detached stoic? No, I'm not stoic. Oh, no, I don't like the stoics at all. I'm nothing to do with stoics. I understand that some people appreciate them, and there are some things that they say which exist already in other systems of thought. So it's correct, right? Like a lot of things that they say that are good exist already in Taoism and Buddhism. But there's a lot of things about the Stoics that I don't like. I believe that it helps people who are at a very low level of self-awareness, so have something. But at some point, we want to come out of it because there's so much more to this than that. There's still a lot of some people are better than others, virtue, and all sort of things. And I'm not into any of those things. I believe that we are all the same. We're all trying our best, and we're all good enough. I don't believe that anyone is better than others. And I don't support or condone anything that in any way would promote the narrative of toxic masculinity and patriarchy. So there's an element of this in that. Not all of it, but there is that. And because of that, it's not for me. Reds, and if so, could that be translated as like a perversion, a distortion, bias mentality? Sorry. Absolutely supported by being supported. So I hope that what I said answered your question originally, before it went haywire. Reds, yes, I agree with the Stoics, but still blessed. Okay, fantastic. So we get to there. Thank you. Whatever the Stoics that said were good already existed in different systems of thought. But the things that I don't like are specific to the Stoics, or the warrior kind of things, or the It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. Yeah. So this is the quote. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. For me, this is ludicrous. If you focus on war, you will be a warrior. If you focus on a garden, you'll be a gardener. And whatever that you are will create your reality. Laksha, hi again. What to do about PORN addiction? Okay. Well, it depends. A lot of us, we don't really have a PORN addiction. We just use it. And we want to destigmatize it. An addiction, and some of us have it. I used to be addicted by it for a while, amongst other addictions. It's when you can't think about it. And you have to do it 6 times, 10 times, 12 times, 20 times, 50 times a day. You can't stop. You are at work, you have to stop everything and go to the toilet. It's overcoming, it's overtaking your life. That's an addiction. But if you use porn every now and then, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like some people who like to play video games, some people who like to go shopping online. It's just a different thing. It's just a thing. But there's a lot of stigma about it. And so PORN can be very healthy. It can have a very good place in someone's life, whether they're single or in a relationship. You know, it's just a tool. It's just a thing. It depends how you use it. So it's never about the thing. It's about the mind that is using that thing. Now, if you really believe that you are addicted to it because it's overpowering, overwhelming all aspects of your life, then the first thing that I would suggest you is therapy. But if you don't like it, if you don't have access to it, there are different things that you can do. You want to realize that PORN is not the problem. It could be something else. You could be addicted to food. You could be addicted to working. You could be addicted to going to the gym. You could be addicted to alcohol. You could be addicted to gambling, to so many different things. So it's never the thing. You want to find out why you need a thing to be addicted to. The addiction is only a reflection of you being in a state of overwhelm, and you need something to help you feel a bit better about yourself. And so it's a stress regulator. And so one of the things that you can do to address any addictions is to address your level of stress and anxiety. Don't worry about the addiction itself. Focus on diminishing your exposure to stress and pressure and anxiety. This is your priority, because there's a reason, or your depression. The reason why some of us have a propensity for addiction is because we are dealing with something else. Addiction to us is not a problem, it's the solution to the problem. It makes us feel better. And so you don't want to demonize it, you don't want to live in shame. Some people will say all sort of things because Jesus or Allah or whoever in the sky told them that it's a bad idea. But it's their belief, you don't have to believe that. We all have urges, we all are humans, and it's perfectly possible for many of us to have a very healthy relationship with PORN, again, whether we are single or in a couple, or in a relationship. And so yes, do you believe that you are addicted to it? Or is it just a feeling of guilt and shame because of what society tells us about it? Pumpkin, both were good. I really liked the first one. Thank you, the quote. It makes me think about how different people see the same people so differently, but also how our perspective changes with time. Yes, we are all living in a bubble. Every single one of us. And through that bubble, we have a different perception of reality. There's not one single person in the whole world that experiences the same thing as you all the time. Sometimes you may share one thing in common in that moment with that person, but nothing will ever be exactly the same forever. We're all different. We all have a vast collection of different beliefs and emotional triggers because of whatever upbringing we had and the environment that we're living in still. And so when we realize this, we realize that there's no such thing as one universal truth and reality. There's only our experience of it. And so what it means is that we can not only change it, because we're not subject to one absolute reality, but also we can have more empathy and compassion for other people, because they too are living within the limits and the restrictions of their own belief system. And no one chooses their belief. Even people that you dislike, even people who hurt you, they're just being themselves. They don't choose to do that deliberately. They don't have a choice. Do I want to become that person or that person? This is who they are. That's all that they know. And so, yeah, very, very enlightening to have a sort of realization. Thank you, Pumpkin. Puff, to appreciate this quote. Red, then what creates momentum? What creates momentum? A repetition of action creates a momentum. If you push in that direction, and then the next moment you push in that direction, there's no momentum because you are stopping the course of the action. But if you push in that direction, and you push again in that direction, and again, now you're creating a momentum. Right? Reds, why do you go live and post? I'm just curious. Because I want to help people. I'm on a mission. I've helped myself. I've been through all sorts of things myself all my life, and I came out of it. And so a part of my work is to expand and reach as many people as I can. So I'm a therapist and coach, and I look after people. But also I'm writing books. So I'm working on my books now, and I want to, at some point, to have a lot of people on social media who know about my book so that they can get it and learn and read it. So my secret mission is to change the world. I know that sounds very grandiose and very egomaniacal, but it's the truth. I believe that I know things, I'm able to add something to help people evolve in the right direction in regards to humanity. And for this to happen, they must first address their own baggage, their own problems, their own limiting belief. And so, yes, I'm working on a book that addresses understanding the mechanics of the mind, why we suffer, why we feel the way we feel, why others are like that, why we interact with one another the way we do, and how we can change everything starting from ourselves. And so this is my mission. And so this is why I'm doing this. Because I can, because I have time, because I know that my input helps a lot of people. And so it's not even because of my ego. It's really because I've got nothing else to do. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I love doing. This is what stimulates me, finding out more about the mind and then sharing those things. This is what I like. So I do this for me. There's a selfish element of it. Everything that I do was always selfish anyway. Everything that we all do is always selfish anyway. So we want to accept this. But having said that, yes, it's the one thing that in the long term excites me the most. So I look after my clients every day in my practice, and whenever I have time, I create content, I spread the word, I try to get more and more attention so that hopefully at some point, when my book is out and ready, I can tell everyone, guys, get that book, read it, and see what happens. Reds, addiction. Everybody is human. We are devil energy. I don't believe in devil. It's a belief. I don't believe in that. Reds, you're absolutely useful and empathetic. I support that. Don't think I don't. Thank you so much. Thank you. This and that. Thank you so much, Reds. Lakshya, I have dreams at night about women I have watched in porn earlier, and I can't stop thinking. So if you think about it, it's normal. If you watch a lot of things, your mind will remember those things. It's normal. Now, does it prevent you from working? Does it prevent you from being happy? Does it prevent you from having normal relationship with people? If so, then it's a problem. Yes. When you look at people, when you are in presence of other women, do you think about them being naked? Do you think about them doing things to them? If so, yes, it's a problem. And so what you want to do is to address the stress and focus your mind on, it's a tricky one. Therapy would help you because I don't know you, Therapy, find someone who can help you find out why you have that blocks. But on the side of it, if you don't have access to therapy, keep away from stress and know not to focus your mind on things that are stimulating you positively, that is not PORN. So I don't know if you like music, if you like creating stuff, if you like starting a business and making money or learning things, whatever it is that you enjoy, spend more time creating, building up something that will utilize your mind. And as you do this more and more, eventually you will potentially be able to redirect your focus on that. It all depends. It's a very deep thing. I couldn't really help you, because if you are addicted to something, it means that you have some trauma. And this is something that we can only find out through therapy. So if I was looking after you, I would hypnotize you, and we would go back into some moments of the past so that we can find out why you have an obsession with pure RN. It's a tricky one. But if you dream about it, it all depends. If it's affecting your life, it's a problem. If you just have those thoughts every now and then, it's because your brain has been watching a lot of this, so it's still there. That's it. Practice meditation. There you go. Practice, like I said, for Pumpkin Puff, meditation and mindfulness over a long period of time. We teach you how to be more present and learn how to let go of certain thoughts that you don't want to have anymore. Or therapy. If you can invest in your mental health, that'll be probably the best thing for you to do at some point, if it's really a huge problem for you. Pumpkin, it's quite a thought to think about. We're different, but also the same. We share experiences and feeling, but process differently. I'll be thinking about your words today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we assume, and that's part of our belief, we assume that we are the center of the world, as in, because I think like that, everyone should think the same. Because I feel like that, everyone should feel the same. Because I believe that, everyone should believe the same. Because I behave like that, everyone should behave like that. Otherwise, if they don't behave like that, they're bad. If you don't treat me like I treat you, there's something bad about you, there's something wrong about you. It's not true, we're all different. But we do assume that, we project that all the time. Because of that, we create suffering. If we can understand that indeed we're all the same, as in, we all start in life with the same system, the content of who we are, however, is going to be different, because we all have a different experience from the moment we are born up till now. And so that helps us to have more empathy and understanding of others, which in turn we develop into more understanding and acceptance of yourself. Pumpkin, I look forward to your book. Thank you. It's not out there. I haven't written it yet. It's here. But it will happen soon. Hopefully, sooner than later. It will happen at the right time. Reds, I can be a sexual therapist. Okay? Okay. So you have a high sexual drive and you understand a lot about this. Is it what you mean? Laksha, thank you. I'd read how to approach you. Thank you, Red. Okay, I'm not sure what to say about this. Okay, guys, I think I've been here for a long time enough. Do you have any last question for the road before I go? In the meantime, and if there's none, remember, I am on TikTok and I am on YouTube. They're the main platforms that I use. I'll go live again on YouTube next Saturday from 5 p.m. and a couple of times sometime in the evening on TikTok. Please follow me, please subscribe, please support me. It's all appreciated. And if you need any more details about me as a therapist and coach, the details should be somewhere on the live, on the videos, everywhere. There's the links everywhere. Just click on those things. Hopefully you would see my details. Laksha, thank you. No, sorry, I read that already. Laksha, yes, one more. Do write articles or a blog? Do I write article blog? I used to write actually, and I've been published in 10 books. But I don't do blogs. I don't have time for that, and it's not my priority. I do lives. I think it's easier for me to interact with people directly. I've been published 10 times as a collaborative writer on 10 different projects. So if you want to find out about this, go on my website and you will find it, all the books that I've been involved in. But those books are collaborative work, and so it's a bunch of us. Most of us are into mental health profession, and we choose a topic, and we all decide within that book we all write a chapter to show what we're thinking about, how we're feeling about that topic in this moment. So if you have interest into those topics, such as depression, anxiety, addictions, neurodiversity, fear, anger, authenticity, grief, and all those things, then those books are quite interesting. If you want to have an insight into my mind, however, wait for my book to come out, because those books were done, were commissioned within a certain frame of time, and so they're just what I was thinking about the topics then. The one book that I'm thinking about is really lifetime work, things that I've been thinking and observing all my life, every day, all the time. So I make sure that you know about this, and thank you for the inquiry anyway. Lino, you have a calming energy. Man, thank you. Thank you so much, Lino. I'm glad you appreciate it. Red Pumpkin, have a good night. Enjoy your weekend as well. Thank you so much. Lakshya, good night. Red, Lakshya. Guys, I love you. Take care. Thank you so much. Come back next week if you can, or on TikTok. And thank you for the support. And remember, be kind to yourself. I love you all. And that's it. Okay, now, where do I press? Here. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. So if you have questions, ask me in the comment section, and I can address those questions either in my videos or next time on my live. Okay?